Hey everybody.
Hey everybody. We're silly today.
Everybody loves Ginger.
Yes.
Or at least you guys have all expressed that you think she's cute and sweet, and we agree. So anyway, we thought we'd do another video, and today we're going to be sharing a little bit about more of our awakening following Sharon's kind of intense study on the deity of Jesus. That was in May of 2014. So shortly after that, we went on a camping trip. We were invited to go with some friends from the Kingdom Hall, and at that time we were invited to stay in the trailer or the RV of one of our elders from our Kingdom Hall. Lovely, lovely elder. His name is Jerry, and really very fond of him. He's a guy of principle. I think he would make an awesome Christian because of his principles, but
and his love.
yeah, but right now he's still under the influence of the Watchtower Society. So we will pray for Jerry and Mariana to have their eyes opened and to come to know Jesus like we know Jesus. So anyway, on this camping trip, Sharon and I are still early in our awakening, but we're firmly on the path. And when we'd go to bed at night, we'd pull the blankets up over our heads like kids do, right? And we're both under there with our iPads, both reading Crisis of Conscience.
Yep.
And having these deep discussions talking about different things that we found, and trying to keep our voices low enough that Jerry and Mariana at the other end of the trailer were not tipped off as to what we were discussing. So, and then besides that, we would go on walks around the state park.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place anyway.
Yeah, Marble Falls, Texas. If you ever have a chance to go, it's really, really beautiful there. And so we'd get away and we'd have little conversations. And again, kind of looking over our shoulder. Was that squirrel looking at us? I think he's spying.
He knows. He knows.
He knows we're awake. Yeah, so that was great. And Sharon, you know, as you start to wake up and you develop your perceptive powers to differentiate truth from falsehood, when you hear falsehood or you hear things that do not have the ring of truth, your face tends to convey that. And Sharon, as she would overhear some of the conversations that we were having in the group, she was starting to give it away a little bit that she wasn't on Team Watchtower anymore. And so, yeah, and that brought up some questions about, is she feeling okay? And of course she was physically, but just the stress of breaking through your cognitive dissonance,
yeah.
that painful...
And the deception.
Yeah. Anyway.
Because what I was learning, there was no ambiguity at all. Yeah, and I had a hard time disguising that in my face.
Right. One conversation we had, even I guess early on, you know, 1 month and a half in, was we were talking about our background in the organization, and I shared with Jerry, who's been an elder for a number of years, but he's much newer in the religion than I was. Sharon and I shared with him that when we were kids, during the meetings, brothers would go outside, and if they had them, they smoked them. They'd have smoke breaks during the meetings. And he about hit the floor, was in complete denial, going, there's no way. And another person there that had been around as long as we had, yeah, confirmed that very much is true. And that shows you even something simple like the fact that Jehovah's Witnesses used tobacco products up and through the early mid-70s was, he was completely oblivious to it. So it was an interesting camping trip, and it was really good. We had a great time. And then once we got back from the camping trip, Sharon really had a tough time forcing herself to go to meetings. I was ministerial servant, the account servant, so I had responsibilities to account for the funds that were donated each and every meeting, doing all the reports, the paperwork, transfers to the branch at the end of the month, all the reconciliation of the bank records, and preparing for audits. And I really didn't want anything associated with the accounts to come back and perhaps leave a negative light on us, because no matter how exemplary a Jehovah's Witness you were or how dedicated you were to the organization, once you leave, your name is mud. there's no escaping it.
Or the scarlet letter A.
Yeah, and I certainly didn't want the next account servant that if he had challenges or difficulties with the books, that somehow that would be carried back to me. So I took great pride in being very accurate. My Kobe, Blake, generally recognized I did a good job. Circuit overseers who reviewed the books also said I did a great job. So my line in the sand for making my exit or my fade complete was going to be a quarterly audit at the end of October 2014. So I kind of had to kind of hang in there and make some of the meetings and carry on some parts and continue with the accounting until that time. Sharon, on the other hand,
had no responsibility.
She didn't have that ball and chain on her leg, and she made good use of her time.
I did.
And not going to all the meetings.
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I could not sit there knowing what I know, knowing the deception, the lies, and then not that it was in Ray Fran's book, it was just, as a comment on YouTube, because we began to really look at a lot of YouTube channel for the XJW community. And when I realized it was a publishing company, and then it really and truly, you stop and sit and think, it really does operate like a publishing company on a business level. So with that being said, I didn't want to have any business with that business. So I really did not want to go that much, to be honest with you. There was one time that he had a demonstration he had to do for the Watch Under the Weight. He asked me to do it. Reluctantly, I did it because I'm thinking, I can see through it. So we got through that quite well, but people could tell I was not in it to how I used to be. Right. As well as Rob himself. People says, Rob okay? Is Brother Hawkins okay? He looks kind of distant, and it was very hard for Rob, as it is anybody waking up who has responsibilities in that Kingdom Hall. And I know we are not the only ones by any means. We currently had someone who commented on one of our videos that they have woken up, they and their wife, but they still have family in. So that has just got to be so hard.
Yeah. I had to go through about a 6-month period between my awakening before I could really completely step away. But for this friend of ours, new friend online, he woke up, I believe he said 10 years ago, and his wife 8 months ago. So for us, there was only a few weeks difference between my awakening and hers. That what a huge blessing it was for me. But to think about this brother, his perseverance to share Tat, and we're still waiting to really get his story to find out kind of how his wife did awaken. But we're thrilled to hear that. But he's got so much family in that for right now, they are still kind of stuck. So anyway, so that was kind of our path. My mom had very bad health, and my father passed away in August of that year, and that also provided a little bit of cover for us in not being at all the meetings as we were dealing with some out-of-town family responsibilities. So that's where we're going to leave this one at, and our next video, we're going to talk a little bit about sharing the real Jesus with Jehovah's Witnesses, some really positive witnessing opportunities Sharon had with some of her family and friends. So we'll pick it up on the next one.
Bye,
See you
guys.
Bye.
Blessings.